Hi, I'm Greg Wells. Welcome to my control room here at Rocket Carousel Studio in Los Angeles. We are going to get into talking about the H-Reverb plugin, which I like a lot.
Don't you know I'm on your side? You know
I immediately put it on a vocal because I'm working with vocalists all the time. If you have a vocal on your track, that means that's the most important instrument on the entire track. Infinitely light years more important than anything else. The way that a reverb responds to a vocal, which we're going to hear in a second, is obviously super important for all of the above reasons. I have the prototype here, and obviously the final graphic interface is going to look different than what you see here. However, this won't affect what I'm explaining. So let me show you how I like to use reverb on a lead vocal. We have a great vocal here by a singer named Gabrielle Christine, and it sounds like this without reverb. This is dry with a little bit of doubling on it.
Lover's arms are sweet divine. I was yours and you were mine. Love was blind.
So I have a bunch of compression on it, and I think it was recorded with a bunch of compression as well, which will start to suck up the ambience in the room that she was singing in. So it sounds like there's already a tiny little bit of some kind of quick reverberation on her. I usually like to get in and tweak plugins, or tweak anything, and sort of set it to where I like. So I've got two presets. One is very creatively called GW Vocal Reverb of Goodness. The other one is called GW Vocal Church. Again, one cannot escape their past. So this is one I really like a lot, and I'll get into how I got there. It sounds like this.
Lover's arms are sweet divine. I was yours and you were mine. Love was blind. Hold me tighter as I melt. I knew it then that you're the best thing I ever felt.
So let me explain how I'm using the doubler. It's just some very subtle stuff. It's like +3 on one side, -3 on the other side. It's not on the reverb. It is on simply just the vocal. So I have a send, send 3 and 4 from the vocals going to the doubler. I also have H delay set up and a guitar pedal delay here. So when you hear the reverb, it's just the reverb by itself. I mean, I can actually let me shut the doubler off just so you can hear it again.
Lover's arms are sweet divine. I was yours and you were mine. Love was blind. Hold me tighter as I melt. I knew it then that you're the best thing I ever felt.
So I'm going to turn the doubler back on because it's a nice thing to have in a track. Let me play you the other preset that I've come up with, which is the churchy one. Sounds like this.
Lover's arms are sweet divine. I was yours and you were mine. Love was blind. Hold me tighter as I melt. I knew it then that you're the best thing I ever felt.
So with both of these presets that I've come up with that I like to use, I think, they're different, but there is sort of like this, I do still have the sense that I'm sitting at the pipe organ and hearing all these reflections from all over the place. I really like that. I don't just like kind of a straight, just it's boring to me. I want to hear a slightly more complicated stuff. I like that in a lot of the stuff that I do, even the microphones I choose. I like there to be more of a sonic footprint on stuff. I don't like stuff that's too kind of like, maybe bland is too strong a word, but I like it to have some sort of vibe. Let's just go with that. So there's all kinds of tweaky craziness you can get into with this plugin, and like I said earlier, you can do it pretty intuitively and pretty quickly. Let me go back to the first one. So, you know, pre-delay, right? Pretty much every vocal reverb, every reverb has pre-delay on it. This is pretty fun. Build up. I'm pretty sure that is an anomaly that's unique to H-Reverb. I'm gonna mess with the build up a little bit as we go. Let's see, where was it set to originally? Okay.
Lover's arms, a sweet divine. I was yours and you were mine. Love was blind. Hold me tighter as I melt. I knew it then that you're the best thing I ever felt.
It's pretty amazing, you know. And again, you have to, at least I have to picture the reverb not so naked like this. I'm talking about using this stuff in a track, you know, assuming with drums, assuming with things filling up the harmonic content, whether they're guitars or piano or synth pads, whatever. I wouldn't want to overly notice anything like this in the mix, but I want it to be something where if you take it away in the mix, everybody in the room goes, oh, what happened? That's what I'm going for. Anyway, build-up's quite fun. It's fun just to play with that and see what that does. It's very different from pre-delay, as I attempted to explain earlier. Size is what it is. And, you know, sometimes size matters. This is very key to me, the reverb. My favorite thing to do is to just grab these guys and kind of move them around and see what sounds best. I usually like my delays and my reverbs to be pretty rolled off on the top end. I don't want to hear a bunch of all that stuff. It just, in the track, it's like, what's that sound? Why is that happening? I like to get rid of it. Some people will de-ess the signal going into the reverb. You can do that too. Every once in a while I'll do that. Most of the time I deal with it by just rolling off all that information on delays and reverbs and just kind of put it in the preset itself. Let me go back to exactly where I had it, then I'll start moving it around.
Lover's arms, a sweet divine. I was yours and you were mine. Love was blind. Hold me tighter as I melt. I knew it then that you're the best thing I ever felt. Don't make things harder. Don't you know I'm on your side? You know.
But you can see like how just from messing with a few things here, it really changes what you're hearing in a big way, but also in a really helpful way. Like it doesn't, you know, with so many pieces of hardware and software, when you start moving knobs, it immediately becomes useless. And I think you're going to be very hard-pressed to do anything on this plugin where it actually hurts anything. It's so helpful to me. Go through all the presets. Listen to it. Listen to it on a snare drum. Listen to it on a piano. Listen to it on a vocal. I learned the most out of what a vocal does to it. But, I would probably go to like a hall, because again of my sort of physical reference of a space, playing a lot of classical music as a teenager, the sound of a great concert hall. But actually, once I started getting in studios and working with real live chambers, which just means it's a room designed to be reverberant, right? Kind of a reflective room. Now I usually go to like a plate or a chamber on a vocal. So let's just go to the very first thing here, warm chamber. Warm is a funny word, but we all sort of know what it means.
Lover's arms, a sweet divine.
Here is the very first chamber plugin. Let's listen to it. Let's listen to a plate, large plate.
Lover's arms, a sweet divine. I was yours and you were mine. Love was blind. Hold me tighter as I melt.
It's beautiful, you know. The other thing I love, and the thing that so many reverbs get wrong, is the end of the reverb tail. And that is, I have to say, that's one of the first things I noticed about this puppy, is that it really, really, really nails it. Like it has this beautiful finish to it. Just like a room would, just like a church would. You know, it's good to have a beginning, it's good to have a middle, it's good to have an ending. And reverbs usually blow the ending. And I knew that when the tail had a gorgeous finish to it, regardless of the length of the reverb or the size of the room, I knew like some serious ears were involved in getting this thing sounding the way it is. Let's try a different preset. Church 1, what is this? Let's hear it.
Lover's arms, a sweet divine. I was yours and you were mine. Love was blind. Hold me tighter as I melt.
So I'm looking at this, and this looks so much like one of my presets. I've never heard this preset before, but I see like the output echoes are sort of like almost identical to what I've done. There's a lot of high-end EQ roll-off. The reverb time is longer. The build-up, the messing with the build-up, you know, kind of all leads you to that sort of place. But I just, for whatever reason, it's probably just because I'm a minister's son, but I really love that sound.
Lover's arms, a sweet divine. I was yours and you were mine. Love was blind. Hold me tighter as I melt.
Hear that? Like how the quality level goes all the way down to nothing. It's really beautiful. The convenience of having something so natural sounding and so naturally dense sounding, like true sound waves bouncing off, you know, the right kind of room or even bigger space sounds. You can't really replicate that. Somehow they have with this plugin. And this plugin is also sort of a pleasantly eccentric plugin where there are a lot of options. And very quickly, by just moving a few knobs, you can actually really get into some very cool ambient things with delays being sent to the reverbs. You can just grab the EQ line and, you know, grab a dot and move it. And it's very, I find it very intuitive. This thing, you're off to the races. You can do anything with it. It also has the best gated snare reverb sound I've ever heard in a preset, which is a really fun thing, and you can use it on lots of things other than just snare, but just check it out. You have to get your hands dirty. You gotta really experiment with it and try things. Level of the reverb is key. That's a big one. Make sure you're not overcooking the level. I'm talking about the output of the actual plugin. That's why I like to put the plugin on its own channel, so I can just grab the fader. Too much of anything, obviously, is not a good thing. So be aware of that and experiment with where you put the level of it. You know, it's a really cool effect, not just on vocals. You can do it on all kinds of stuff. You can also apply that to lots of other effects too. Very subtle usage of it to where you get it to a point where you don't really notice it. Things are just sounding really good. But if you take it out, you know, the sad face comes. You want to, oh, it's better when it's in. Check it out.